Yes, I'm Italian and I just moved in my dream apartment in New York City. However, it's far from finished. It's bad, it's messy, and it's not a dream right now, but we're going to make it cool. When I first got here, I had no idea where to live. I'm from Italy, and to me, New York was Spider-Man, Central Park, Times Square, the Empire, Friends, and How I Met Your Mother. Not much. And yes, we are going to tour the whole place, but first, I think the story of how I got here, it's interesting. So as I explained in my previous episode, which if you missed, go back and watch it, it's pretty cool. And you could also subscribe here, you know, it really helps. Maybe we can get to 10K soon, hopefully. Let me know. I came here first in 2021. First Mexico, then Orlando to do some theme parks, and as I was in Orlando, I started searching for a place to live in New York, which yes, I looked at them before, like on Airbnb, which was still like possible to rent for more than a month at a time, but why I waited so long to get an apartment is because I wasn't sure they were gonna let me in the States. Like, you know, with COVID and everything, it was complex. So I waited till I was in the country, actually. And I had that week that I spent in Orlando to book something. And if I couldn't find a proper place, my plan was to just stay in a hotel until I could find something to rent. Yeah, not a great plan. Even because I didn't know anyone in the city. No one. At the time, I was also working on music. And this is a whole nother story for another day, but my dream was to have a piano in the apartment so that I could practice and slowly reveal the music project to my Italian audience, as I was daily vlogging every single day. And after searching for a while, I found this spot on the Upper West Side, which was perfect on paper, close to Central Park, something I knew, I remember, and it had a freaking piano. The price was acceptable, but it was one of those apartments that you had to request to the person and then they would approve you. So I send in the request and I wait. I think they have 48 hours to answer, and if they don't, then the request fails and you just get your money back after like a week or something. So I go into the parks, I explore, and as I'm in Hollywood Studios, the time is about to expire. I'm like, no, it's not answering. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to find another place, but there was none. Like literally everything else was like booked or really ugly and scary. I remember thinking when the request expired, I was in Hollywood Studios waiting for the final show, and I was like, what am I going to do? Like, really? The hotel thing was there as an idea, but I was like, no way I have to do that. Yeah. However, as I was watching the show, I get a notification through Airbnb, and it was the owner that was like, I'm sorry, I'm traveling and I can accept your request if you send it again. I'm sorry I didn't see it. And I was like, perfect. So I send in the request again, and this time she accepts the request, and I finally had an apartment in New York. Just for the first 2 months, for the last month, I actually moved to the Lower East Side, in a sketchier apartment. They broke into my house through the night. Again, like a whole other story. That wasn't fun. But the important thing is that I had an apartment and a freaking piano. And so I stayed in touch with the owner, and now I'm not through Airbnb anymore. I have a normal contract and rent that I pay, so it's more of like a normal situation. I actually lived also for a while in New Jersey. My friend bought an apartment and was renting me a room, which was an interesting time. Well, the good thing about New Jersey is that you have a lot of space. This is the living room, which is basically half of my place. But then another room. This specific one used to be my bedroom when I was here. There's a long hallway, the bathroom with laundry. This is luxury. The kitchen, only the fridge here is bigger than my kitchen. So, you know, the actual pain here is getting to the city, and if you have to go there every single day, it's for sure doable, no problem. But for me, that sometimes I just have to get out to get a quick shot of like 30 seconds. I go to the city for 30 seconds. And then of course I noticed that when I was here, I always was like, someone invited me to do something in the evening, and I'm like, to go all the way to Brooklyn and then stay there till 10, 11. But then, like, you know, the last bus, it's at midnight, and then it's messy, and then I gotta get an Uber, and it's expensive, blah, blah. And so I mostly stayed at home. Also, It's not like I'm always out when I'm in the city, because I'm a homebody, to be honest. I like to stay home, but... And now, of course, some of you may be like, oh, what about Brooklyn? Don't you think I thought about it? You know, me just getting home after a full day in the city, back to Brooklyn. Well, I gotta say, Brooklyn could be interesting. I mean, especially Williamsburg, it's easy to reach, you know? Like, I got here from Manhattan in like a few stops of L train, so that's not bad. Apartments can be like a little bit cheaper overall, which is also really good, and you get like something a little bit better than Manhattan, which is in a lot of places like kind of expensive. Even though, yes, it's not like the classic New York style vibe apartments, you know, it's not like, at least these, maybe there's like apartments that are like a little bit more like industrial style, which I love so much, because they have character. Some apartments are like more plain, which is cool because you can do so many things with them. But then also, you know, I got a dedicated workspace area here. I can do my thing, chill. It's very bright, because, you know, these new buildings are actually cool. There's even a balcony for the summer. That would be amazing. And then even when you get out of here, there's so many things you can do. But yeah, I'm talking about Williamsburg. What if, you know, somewhere else in Brooklyn? Then it becomes more uncomfortable. So it's Williamsburg that I'm interested in, and not necessarily, it's really hard to choose. Gotta make a choice at some point. For now, just gonna enjoy this. Still, I'm not sure it's the right thing. Anyway, going back to my place, Upper West Side, I do have a contract and everything, and she made me a good price. And the reason is that she needs to store here a lot of her art. She's an artist and makes really cool paintings that make the place very colorful, but there are a lot of paintings. So I was able to change some of the furniture and make the place feel more like home. But there's a part that it's still like all of her stuff that I just piled in one place. There's no space. First, cleaned the house, got a new carpet, got rid of the old couch, which I had no idea if leaving something on the street would actually work, but it did. Got very excited for a second there.
Funziona davvero.
And then got the new couch, which we'll talk about in a second. And what I did, as you can see, is I inverted the piano and the couch, because I think it looks better on the brick wall, actually. And then I got a few more things to make the house better. These things include new chairs, the old ones were all broken, a screwdriver, 3 different speeds, even the light. It's so... I'm in love. Okay. A shoe rack for the entrance, a beautiful orange cabinet and a blue one, a new table, and some tech as well. Finally it arrived! I think this is really cool. With these, we're gonna use an Apple TV. You see that corner up there? I would love to be able to put the projector there, but there's still all the art. So on this cabinet here, let's see if it works from there. Yeah, it took me a second to figure out. This is not bad. Of course, we had like a shelf or something back here that would be even better. But this is a brick wall, so it's kind of a pain to like drill in it. And as you can see, it's full of holes already. So it's not impossible for sure, but it's a start, you know? And this is finally the finished product, so far at least, of the house, which now feels like my home. As soon as you enter through this really broken door, I swear I have no idea what happened here. I asked, apparently there were like problems, and then got open, but then they were supposed to change it, but they never did. So it's a really messy, loud door. I'm sorry, neighbor, there's nothing I can do. Then shoe cabinet, where to store all shoes. No shoes in the apartment, that's the rule. It's a very Japanese thing. I'm not Japanese, I'm just Italian, and just my mom just always made me remove the shoes in the house, and so I kept that as a habit. And when I first cleaned this place, it was so dirty. I don't know when was the last time that someone cleaned it. A while ago, I think. And then you get to the main space. The really cool thing about this apartment is that it has super tall ceilings, and so it has kind of like a second floor where it's basically the bedroom. You go up here, and then once you get up, you find the bed and a lot of storage stuff. Yes, there's a lot of things up here. That's part of the deal. But imagine if you think about, removing everything, you could make like a little reading nook with like a small library, or put a desk and like have a little workspace. There's a lot you could do with like even this space up here. But yeah, change the bed frame. It's now much better. It's a little taller right now, but I think I like it. And most of all, it's way better for my back. So, little night lamp. And then once you get off here without dying, imagine at like, 3 a.m. when you have to go to the bathroom and yeah. But as you can see, there's all of the art and a lot of messy things that I just piled here. I'm so sorry. Then we got the bathroom. This is very much just a New York classic bathroom, just made it a little bit more colorful. Just added a rack in the shower finally, so that I can store all the products. Oh, and the towels are like hanging off from the outside because of the steam, And then we move out of here and get to the kitchen. Again, really small. I love cooking. There's not a lot of space to do that here, but I try to. I mostly cook at home. Maybe again, like my Italian heritage, I just not used to eat outside every single day. My body cannot take that at all, so I like to cook in the house. And then we finally get to the main room. By the way, I also added smart lights. Hey Siri, turn on living room. So much fun. When I leave the house, everything turns off. When I get back, everything turns on automatically. And if I go up and I'm in bed and I'm like, oh no, I forgot the light downstairs, I can just be like, hey Siri, good night.
Setting the good night scene.
Yes, but you forgot one light. We fight sometimes. There's a super cool fireplace that has my robot cleaner inside. The dining table could be where now there's all this piled stuff, and that would be perfect, to be honest. So you have your dining area, and then everything else is like living room, cozy vibes, and you have the fireplace, which you can put like candles inside maybe and make it like vibey and cool, because of course it's closed, you cannot use it as a freaking fireplace. And then of course the piano area where I can play, practice, and chill. There's a lot of Smiskis around the house and little mini figures. I love animes. And then I added some plants because I think plants are beautiful, and I've always been not great with plants, but to be honest, so far I'm managing them and it's okay, I think. More Smiskis, a mini library, really mini, really small. Now the plants are usually like all over, but right now it's starting the winter, so they're gonna cook on there. I have my basil, more plants, cabinets. I loved it, like to give a little bit of like color, and the main colors here are like blue and orange, I guess. And then the most fun couch ever, it's actually Omu couch is the actual brand that invented this, and this is just a knockoff. I'm sorry. I wish I could buy the original one, but I got rid of the owner's couch, and so I needed something that I could live here, and the Omu couches are like thousands of dollars. And this is like a few hundreds on Amazon, but it's amazing. Like I'm honestly really surprised by it. It's functional. It can become two different separate beds or a single large bed for when we have guests. You can open it and chill on it at night. It can also be a conversational pit or play games. It's fun to use it like that. And so, is this my dream apartment? Well, it is, because I've always dreamed of being in New York City and living here, and it's in a great location near Central Park with a lot of trains around, so I can get a train and go anywhere I want in the city. So that's really all I wanted, and these very New York, real OG vibes that this apartment gives just make me so happy, then is it perfect? No. Of course, one day I would love to try a high-rise, maybe an industrial-looking building, you know, old warehouse vibe. I like that it has a personality and it's not just like a plain, simple apartment, which it might be like, you know, brighter, more beautiful, more modern, better amenities, which is great. And to be honest, I'd be okay with that. I wouldn't complain. But this, it just has something magical. So it is my dream apartment right now. And I'm so happy to be able to live here and very grateful. Thank you for following today's story. I have many more coming. Subscribe, please help me reach 10K subscribers. And YouTube thinks this video will be great for you. So I would just listen to YouTube and click on it. Yes, I only have 2 other videos on this channel so far, but if you're watching in like a few months, there will be more, and so like for sure the advice is great. So just trust it and press on it.